Access 2019, Module 3, Part 7. This time we will be looking at a query with multiple criteria, only they will be combined in an OR combination, meaning that if either criteria is true, the record will be selected. We're also going to look at a couple of things that you can do to change the look or the appearance of your query results once you get your query working. You're going to see on the criteria area that when you're using an OR combination, the criteria need to be in opposite rows. So let's get into our Lakewood database. We're going to take our older and flu patients query, and we're going to click on it and do a right click and tell it to copy. Then I want to do a right click in the blank area and paste. I'm going to change the name so I get rid of copy of. And I'm going to change the word and to OR. And again, I like to use all caps just because I want the emphasis on that if anyone should go back and review these queries later on. So again, when you copy and paste, make sure you click on the new one before you open it to make your changes. And make sure you double check the name on the tab so that you know you're changing the correct one. So let's go ahead and go to Design View. We're going to take one of these queries or criteria. So I'm going to take influenza and I'm going to delete it. They need to be on opposite rows if they are going to be in an OR combination. So we have one criteria on the criteria row. One needs to be down here on the OR row. So we click under Reason in the OR row and we type in influenza. So no change in the two criteria, just different placement, causing them to be combined in an OR. So now records will be selected if either criteria is true. So when we run this criteria now, you can see there are a lot of extra records that were selected. For example, the top one that is highlighted, the birth date criteria was met. Influenza was not the reason, so that's why it didn't get selected before. But because it's an OR combination, only one needed to be true. Let's see if we can find an influenza one that's not. Here we go. Here's an influenza. The criteria was met here, but the birth date criteria was not met, so that's why it was not selected on the earlier AND combination. Let's go back into our design view and let's set up a sort on the birth dates. We'll go under birth date and set it up as descending order. And now when we click run, you can see the earlier birth dates. 89, 88, it starts with the earlier birth dates and goes backwards. So that's how we can do a OR combination. Let's look at a couple of things that we can do if we want to change how a query looks. And so one thing we could do obviously is change fonts. If you change the font, or the size of the font, you are not changing it only for the cell that is highlighted. You're changing it for the entire query data set. So let's go ahead and increase the font size to 14. So you can see it changed it for everything. If you do make a change to the font, you would need to then come in here and resize your columns. I'm just going to do best fit on these column borders to make sure that all of the data is visible given the new size. Another thing that we can do is we can change this alternating color. So if you hover over this box over in the corner of your text formatting group, you see that it's the alternate row color. If you hit that drop down arrow, you can see that there are different options that we can choose. So if we wanted to change the color to green, accent 6, lighter 60%, you'd hover over them till you found the one that said that, and it would then change the color of every other row. Let's go ahead and save these changes, and we'll close this query.